Okay, I'm just going to be straight up here. I'm looking to poke the bear and ruffle some feathers because innovation is not about aligning with the status quo. It's all about questioning and challenging because we don't improve unless we agree that there is a problem that people are facing to solve. Alright, let's dive in. For what feels like forever, at least 2 decades, the entire AEC industry has been stuck in this huge multi-billion-dollar argument. And you know what it's about? Words. It's about semantics. Today, we're cutting through all that noise. We're going to settle this once and for all. Okay, let's just start with this number, $15.8 billion. This is the number that should be keeping every single leader in the AEC world up at night. Seriously. So what is this number? Well, that's how much money our industry hemorrhages every single year. Why? Because we are told it's from bad data and systems that just don't talk to each other. And you know what? This whole mess is built on one big lie. A lie we've been told for 20 years. That the solution is just do BIM. It's not a data or information management problem. It is a lack of process integration and tech silos that's costing our industry every single year. It's this massive gaping hole in the boat. And for far too long, we've just been tolerating it. And this quote, this just nails it, doesn't it? The problem starts right here. When we can't tell the difference between the thing and what we do with the thing, the object and the action, that vague, fuzzy idea that BIM is a process is the real villain here. It's the root cause of all the confusion, the waste, and the contributing factor of that $15.8 billion leak. So how in the world did we get here? How did we get so lost? Well, to fix the mess, we first have to go back in history and understand exactly where things went wrong. Innovation begins with understanding the problem people are facing. So let's peel back the layers. You know, it all started out so clear and simple. Back in '74, you had Professor Chuck Eastman, the father of BIM. He described a digital thing, a noun, a building description system. Simple. Then, in 2001, Stanford's Center for Integrated Facility Engineering came along with Professor Martin Fisher and gave us the action, the verb, VDC, or Virtual Design and Construction. We had the methodology, the noun, and verb. SciFi also shared the POP model, the product, BIM, the organization, the people, and the process to take action on BIM. Doesn't that make sense, right? But then, around 2002, a software giant jumps in and basically says, let's just call everything BIM. And just like that, the marketing machine took over, won the war, and the technical clarity was completely lost in the fog. Now, why would they do that? You have to follow the money. This isn't just some accident. For some of the biggest players out there, keeping things vague, well, it's a pretty great business strategy. Let's just be real for a second. If you're a standards body like ISO, and you're pushing something like ISO 19650, or an organization like Building Smart, calling BIM an information management process is great for business. It creates a never-ending process and need for your compliance, certifications, your consultants, the whole framework. And hey, if you're a software giant, defining BIM as a process, that lets you sell an entire suite of products, an ecosystem that locks customers right into your world. This was never really about helping the industry progress. It's about protecting business models, and it's cost us decades. Oh yeah, and the subscription model keeps increasing while the products stagnate. Brilliant marketing. This is the result. This is the trap. We've wasted a quarter of a century arguing about how to share data and information, instead of focusing on integrating this new digital toolset into our business process to improve how we work. Technology has 3 goals. With BIM and VDC, it's about visualizing the work to improve communication of the people. which enhances collaboration of the people, which then drives faster and better, earlier informed decisions to improve delivery by the people. We brought their agendas hook, line, and sinker and walked right into a mess of confusion and waste. The result: we have a growing number of BIM and VDC roles within organizations which are siloed from operations. They're technicians, double clickers, not integrators. And the new trend, catch this, BIM is something we buy from a consultant. Oh yeah, let's just bake that into the cost of work and push it downstream, meaning pushing risk downstream, because that's how our industry operates. The confusion worked. Keep them stuck while technology and consultants make more money. Does your business get better? Not really, because BIM is a checkbox. So this trap, it's not just some abstract idea. And we wonder why business leaders still don't understand the value of BIM and VDC for their own people. As a construction firm, do your estimators use the model as part of their daily work? Same question for scheduler, PM, PE, project engineer, superintendent, project executive. I don't mean modeling. I mean implementing VDC with the BIM to drive decisions. If the answer is no, then it just validates my point. It's a real-world symptom, a disease really. It's time we gave this industry-wide illness a name. So let's call it the BINO syndrome. That's B-I-N-O, BIM in name only. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's when a firm creates this gorgeous, expensive 3D or 4D model just to check a box. It looks incredible in a client pitch, but for the superintendent in the field, it's totally useless. It's a high-tech ghost town or Hollywood BIM. A pretty picture with zero valuable data inside. And just for the record, I didn't make this acronym up. It was popularized in the early 2000s. I mean, look at this. You've seen it on pretty much every project, or maybe even on a job site fence, haven't you? This is the poster child of BINO. It looks like a building, sure. It does serve a single purpose of design intent to drive a singular decision, sure. But can you schedule it from it? Nope. Can you pull costs from it? Nope. Can you actually build from it? No way, homie. Riddle me this. Is this Hollywood BIM as a process or a thing? All right, I need to take a sidestep here for a few moments, as it's part of taking our language back. We are absolutely swimming in acronyms, right? We talk about 3D for design, 4D for time, 5D for cost, VDC, BIM. We thought we were speaking the language of the future, but what if we were just making a bunch of noise? Today, we're going to figure out how to cut through all that jargon and start speaking one language that leadership always understands, the language of value. Words matter. We pour money into these incredible technologies, but the second we try to explain why they're so great, we just hit a brick wall. Have you ever been there? You're in a meeting. You're generally pumped to show off your 4D animation, and you just see the eyes across the table glaze over. There's a reason for that, and it's costing us a whole lot more than we realize. This right here, this nails it. We have accidentally trained our leaders to ignore us. We've turned those powerful concepts into buzzwords. So when they hear 4D or 5D, they don't hear innovation or efficiency. They hear tech demos and more spending. They hear complexity, and they just tune out before we can even get to the good part, the actual business case, the value to our people to deliver performance. Okay, first up, the D trap. This is the big communication breakdown. The gap between what we think we're saying and what our leadership is actually hearing. And it's holding so many of us back. And you know what? We kind of have to own this. I'm guilty of it myself, but I learned this lesson the hard way over the past 20 years, so you don't have to. For way too long, we've been obsessed with nouns, the tech, the models, the platforms, but the real value isn't the tool. It's never the tool. The value is in the verb, the action, the process of planning, of managing, of collaborating better. It's ultimately about people. Yes, and how they use that project information to make decisions that the platform should provide. That's the mental shift we all need to make. Although subtle, it's powerful because people are at the center, not tools. So, if we start focusing on the process, what does it actually look like? Well, it starts with seeing the project as one big integrated system, not a bunch of separate silos or pieces. Think about it. On any given project that's really humming along or is experiencing flow, everything is connected. Design isn't separate from scheduling, and scheduling isn't separate from estimating. They all flow into each other. And that entire flow is driven by one simple, fundamental truth. Boom, that's it, right there. Schedule is king. The sequence of work, the design, the engineering, logistics, the flow of people, material, equipment on site. That is what drives the cost of everything else. Once you truly get that in your bones, your entire approach to this stuff has to change. Which brings us to our first big fix. It is time to stop talking about 4D and start talking about something that actually delivers value. Let's just make a simple switch. We are retiring 4D. From now on, we're calling it visual planning and scheduling. See, it's not just a different name. It's a totally different mindset. It immediately tells you what it is. A business function, not a tech feature or some feature in a tool. It's clear, it's direct, and it's focused on the outcome we are all trying to achieve. And the real point here isn't just to make something look cool. No, it's a two-step move. First, you plan the work visually using BIM and VDC as the workflow. Then, this is the absolute key. You take that visual plan to your designers, your trade partners, the vendors, the folks actually doing the work, and you collaborate to make sure this schedule, this visual plan, is even possible. Ask for their feedback. Let's improve it. It's a yes and. Yes, we can do this, but no, hey, let's figure out this. It's about communication and collaboration to drive earlier and better informed decision. It's not about information management. And a real visual plan goes so far beyond a legacy and archaic Gantt chart that's actually keeping us stuck, full with interpretation and misunderstanding. We're talking about mapping out the entire job site in a virtual environment, a digital twin for the construction site. Where are the materials going to get staged? What is the exact swing of that crane? Where are the mobile cranes going to drive? How is the scaffolding and or temporary shoring going to impact everyone else? It's all about logistical clarity. And the value you get from that, it's immense. You go from a simple list of tasks to a shared holistic understanding of how the whole dance of the project is supposed to work. It gets rid of the guesswork, it cuts down on conflicts, and it makes the whole thing way more efficient and guess what? Predictable. What makes this work is not just the people double-clicking, it's operations. If operations is not using it on a daily basis, it's just a pretty animation. I've worked with many superintendents and schedulers who've embraced this integrated approach with visual planning, and we've experienced success through integration. The BIM and VDC people play a crucial role, but we're not leading the charge. It was operations. This is the difference between a technician and an integrator. The difference between failing and success. All right, let's take the same logic and apply it to the money side of things. It's time to get beyond the whole 5D thing. So, just like before, we're swapping out the jargon. Instead of 5D, we're going to talk about model-based cost trending. Note, the term model, yes, it's BIM in this context, but I want you to take a step back and think about the pure definition of the word model. A model is a simplified representation, abstraction, or simulation of a system, object, or phenomena, designed to get this, to enhance understanding, prediction, or communication. Now, notice the word trending. It describes a continuous process, not a one-and-done software trick. It's about active, ongoing financial management. And we all know, estimating is an art, driven by the tacit and explicit knowledge of people, not a quantity takeoff exercise like the software companies want you to believe. Now, the goal here is a total game changer. It's not about waiting around for an estimate after the design is already finished. It's about making sure the design evolves inside the budget in near real time. This live data then directly informs your procurement and all the work that follows. It's connecting design directly to the dollars required to procure, to fabricate, to plan, and to build. And listen, you don't need to track every last nut and bolt to make this work. You focus on the big ticket items, the stuff that drives your schedule and has those long lead items. Progressive teams leverage a process called target value design. We're talking critical path systems like structural concrete, steel, building enclosure, major MEP systems. Look, if you manage those, you're managing the lion's share of your project's financial risk. The value proposition here is just incredibly powerful, and it is a story of team integration, not information management. For the owner, you're giving them unprecedented real-time transparency into where their money is going that drives the point of release for both design and construction stakeholders. And for the project team, you get to manage the budget and scope as one single conversation, not two separate ones. No more painful, big reveal estimates that are dead on arrival. Here is a friction point. If you're a GC establishing a guaranteed maximum price or GMP at the design development phase, you better have a method in place to manage your risk. The conversation moves from cool tech to business imperative. How many firms are taking this approach? Not many. 20 years later, we're still lacking integration, but oh wait, AI is going to fix all our problems. Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about the way out, because there is a way out. We can absolutely get unstuck. It's time for a revolution, and it all starts by taking our language back. Words matter, especially for business leaders to understand the value of BIM and VDC in helping their people achieve our common goal of value creation for the client. So listen up, because this is the whole shebang right here. It is simple. BIM is the noun. That's it. It's the product, the digital asset, the data-rich digital twin we're trying to create. And VDC, that's the verb. It's the action, the process, the operational excellence you perform using that noun. See the difference? We need to stop buying into all the self-interest marketing that is purposely built to confuse us to protect their business model. And this is the part you absolutely have to get. You can't run a high-performance verb on a broken noun. All your fancy tech and siloed VDC processes, your ability to make money, to eliminate waste, it is 100% dependent on the quality and the data integrity of your BIM, your asset. Okay, now I want to give you something you can use tomorrow, literally. At your next project meeting, I want you to run this super simple 3-question audit. This is especially helpful for project leaders. It'll help you spot the Bino syndrome from a mile away and make sure you're not just modeling confusion. Question number 1, the action test. You're going to ask, what is the primary business decision this model is designed to facilitate today? If the answer is something fuzzy like coordination, that's a red flag. That's just describing the noun. You need a specific verb, a VDC action, like validating the structural steel budget or simulating a critical crane lift, or validating the secondary enclosure steel structure with the primary steel system to make sure the enclosure panels are fabricated correctly. Why? Because we need to be sure embed placements and anchor bolt locations are spot on. Why? Because if they don't match, this will create rework and stall enclosure installation, which guess what? Impacts our interior trades from starting work. By the way, this is a great way to use the 5 why approach. You see, this transforms you from a technical specialist to an operational integrator. It's about driving business results, not information management. Second, the breakdown test. Ask this: is this model broken down by how we build or by how we draw? Think about it. Modeling a 10,000 square foot concrete slab as one giant object might be easy in the software, but it's completely useless for sequencing daily pours in the field. You can't just run a precision process on a lazy asset. Or the curtain wall BIM goes from the ground to 300 feet up in the air to the penthouse and it wraps the building. It's 4 objects. That design intent doesn't help the fabricators or the superintendent planning the sequence of enclosure installation or managing trade flow. Riddle me this: if BIM is a process, don't you think the modeling of these systems should be based on the needs of downstream workflows? Or is it just an object for someone else to recreate another BIM for their own needs? That's some amazing information management. Look, I know what you're going to say. Oh, this is design intent versus means and methods. Yes, but my point here is that this is pure waste that leads to defects, overproduction, inventory, excess movement, and worst of all, unutilized talent and waiting. And we wonder why the industry leaks billions of dollars every year? Man, we can thank our broken legal and risk legacy systems for keeping us siloed. Thanks, guys. You're awesome. Which leads to the final question. You have to ask who owns the data integrity of the noun. Because if the answer is everyone, then the real answer is nobody. You have to assign a specific owner for the data for a given purpose. Each stakeholder has a purpose for the BIM: design intent, engineering, procurement, fabrication, planning, installation, maintenance. Each stakeholder has a different level of accountability that is all interdependent with others. So don't just ask the question, dive deeper to understand how the purpose affects team performance. Project leaders should not waste time managing information. They must focus on managing accountability to ensure we meet our objectives. Without a single point of accountability, our entire VDC effort is, I guarantee it, destined to fail. Look, compliance with ISO 19650 or Revit is not going to save you. Look, if you walk away with only one thing from this, let it be this: you don't do BIM. You build a BIM, a high-integrity, data-rich digital asset that serves a purpose for each disciplined stakeholder, so that you can execute your business process, which is BDC, which is real high-value work. The easiest way to think about it is this: one is a tool, the other is a craft, right? You can have the fanciest, most expensive hammer in the world, but it's just a paperweight without a skilled carpenter to swing it with intention and purpose. So it's time to stop waiting. Stop waiting for another standard or some magical software consultant to come up and save you. That $15.8 billion leak, it's going to be plugged by leaders. Leaders who take back their language, leaders who take back their destiny and integrate these digital tools into how we work. All right, I'm done. My purpose here is to provide a different perspective based on decades of learning the hard way and currently watching companies and people struggle because of this lie we've been sold. I'm expecting the trolls to come out of the woodwork, so bring it on, homie. Innovation happens when we align the problem people are facing. In the Japanese lean mindset, we are taught to celebrate when we find the problems, because only then can we work together as a unit to solve them. Innovation is about improving life, not the next tool in our quiver. People solve problems, and the outcome is innovation. Tech is simply the vehicle to accelerate decision-making to create value for our people first, which amplifies value to our clients. At OpX5, I help organizations get unstuck by helping their people become integrators. I provide both individual and organizational strategic services. To help your people transform from technician to integrator, I offer a 5-week intensive virtual live group cohort. This is not training. This is about transformation. It's not lectures. It's interactive, where my students perform tasks on projects to enhance outcomes. It's a systematic approach developed as the train the trainer model. At one point, I remember sending dozens of people to major industry conferences every year, where we all heard the same thing: value propositions, the what, the success stories, while being completely inundated with marketing, tech demos, and what's coming next. Side note, we are still waiting for a lot of those things that were promised years ago. Those team members came back inspired, but not really educated, because they came back and nothing really changed. Yes, they were inspired, but that evaporated over a couple weeks. On a few occasions, here's the friction. As a result, we were paying tens of thousands of dollars for attrition. Because guess what? Our people were being recruited by competitors and tech providers. Instead, consider investing to develop your people, because we educate on the how based on what actually works, not just the what and the value prop. And we do this through the OpX5 operating system. Look, this is not a technology. This is a systematic mindset approach that fuses operational excellence, knowledge management, and digital transformation to achieve flow. A proven system developed over 35 years of learning the hard way, so your people don't have to. If you're interested, hit me up. Let's have a conversation, and let's stop modeling confusion. It's time to get you guys unstuck.